Okay, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the May 12th, 2026 legislative session of the town of Ossining. Rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Councilmember Manicchio.
Here.
Councilmember Fields to Will.
Here.
Councilmember Weiss.
Present.
Deputy Supervisor Meyer.
Present.
And Supervisor Phil.
Present.
Excellent. Public hearing this evening on, oh, did you hear me?
Yes, you're good.
Public hearing this evening on local law 1-2026, filming in the town of Ossining.
So currently, the town has nothing in its code as it relates to filming. So the intention here was to codify the application process by laying out the different information that has to be required, that has to be provided by the applicant. And this also references the fee schedule that is already in place. It gives the town information so that you know what's going to be happening and you can plan accordingly, provide necessary municipal resources when appropriate, and make sure that it's being done in orderly fashion. The fee schedule is pretty standard in terms of being across the board fees, with the exception of educational filming, which is not required to pay a fee, but the application still has to be submitted again, just so that the town knows what's going on and can plan accordingly. And if anyone else calls asking about it, you know how to direct them. I mean, a lot of this was taken from other codes that are already in place. So it's not really reinventing the wheel, it's just kind of tailoring it to the town's needs. The town doesn't have a huge downtown area, compared to the village, although there are some commercial areas. But there are some big properties where filming has happened in the past. It does give the supervisor the authority to be the one to issue the permit. And then if under certain circumstances, when the supervisor deems it appropriate, she can seek the input from department heads of the town board as need be. But given the timeframes where usually this doesn't come to the town's attention until relatively soon before the filming commences. And that's also consistent with the town's practice up until this point, as I understand it, that the filming permits have always been issued through the supervisor's office. It does give the town board, not the supervisor individually, but the town board the ability to waive certain requirements in the filming code where it deems it appropriate under the circumstances. Because there have to be certain standards that generally apply, but that may be inhibiting or not appropriate under certain circumstances. So it does give that waiver ability to the town board. And it also gives the supervisor the authority to suspend or revoke a public permit that's already in place if it's determined to be hazardous under the circumstances, or if the applicant is not complying with the terms of the license as issued, which the supervisor can put certain conditions on based upon what she deems appropriate under the circumstances. So that's just the generalities of it. There's definitions of filming, and there's certain exceptions to what's considered filming. Newspaper outlets, commercial marketing, educational purposes, activities for criminal investigation or court proceeding, and activities involving the town of Ossining itself are all exempt from these obligations.
Okay. Is anybody here to speak on that?
Is there anyone online that would like to raise their virtual hand and speak on the public hearing on local law number 1/2026, filming in the town of Ossining? Seeing no one, Do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Departmental report, Town Assessor Mike.
Oh, good evening, folks. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I'll do my best. Thank you. I only need a few minutes of your time. This is really just an update on the tentative assessment roll for 2026. The tentative roll will be published on June 1st, 26, as per the law. We will publish it online on the assessor's homepage on the far right-hand side in the vertical blue box. It'll say 2026 tentative assessment roll. In addition, we'll be mailing out change of assessment notices to all property owners, commercial and residential, towards the end of the month to coincide with the publication of the tentative roll. Likewise, determination letters for recently submitted applications for exemptions off of your assessed value. Those determinations are being made right now. The letters will go out in the next 1 to 2 weeks, again, to align with the tentative assessment roll. That is the goal, to get everybody informed. This year, grievance day is the 16th of June. So it's always the third Tuesday in June, but this year it's a little bit earlier on the calendar. So we just advise folks to review their change of assessment notices, and if you feel it's appropriate, if you feel that the assessed value doesn't accurately represent your home's true value as of July 1st of 2025, feel free to submit a grievance application by that third Tuesday in June in order to be considered for a review by the Board of Assessment Review. All right, so just a little bit of information on the 2026 tentative roll. Last year, we had completed a full reappraisal, which was a rebaselining of land, cost values, comparables. It was a large effort that took many, many months. This year, we're back to what we call the annual trend, annual update. So we're looking at market conditions, largely driving assessed value changes, as opposed to individual revalue, where we have to scramble the comps and reestimate value like we did last year. We don't do that every year. The next time we'll do a full reappraisal is in about 4 years from now. We do that on a cyclical basis, but each year we annually update and trend the values. So, of course, we were looking at market data from industry leaders, both commercial and residential. We were looking at the sales that were occurring. There are far fewer sales than when I first came here in 2023, just about 160 arm's length sales, not a lot of sales to work with, as compared to over 250 just 3 years ago. So the inventory has dropped precipitously. Arm's length sales are down. That being said, we review the market and make appropriate decisions as needed. Of course, any new construction, alteration to real property, we capture the change in the physical dwelling and descriptive characteristics for the property. That's something we need to do every year. And we are updating at a neighborhood level. And I'll get into that in just a moment about what those year over year assessed value changes look like by neighborhood. As I mentioned, with regard to the exemption determinations, we had a record number of renewal and first-time applications for senior citizen and low-income disabled. We also had the renewals for the firefighters, non-for-profits, clergy, etc. So it's been a busy season. So the short of it is that we discovered, after looking at our market trends, that the assessed value will increase anywhere from 4 to 5% this year. That is still up, still growth, but at a lower growth rate than what we've seen since 2023. The value will be up 335 million on the tentative roll, and that's the total assessed value. With regard to neighborhood changes, a lot of the variance, and there isn't much variance that we see, has to do with where more of our 2 and 3 family homes are. 2 and 3 family homes have been selling at a premium greater than that of the single family homes we've discovered. As such, neighborhoods like maybe Southside Sparta, the Hollow Upper South Side, some areas like I'm just thinking, I'm looking around here at the map. Yeah, there we go. Right. Even Indian Village, we've seen some of these areas actually increase in value about 5% to 7%. So we're going to keep our eyes on the 2 and 3 family homes. The average for the predominantly single family neighborhoods is anywhere between 4 and 6%, 4 and 5.5%. So again, modest growth as compared to where we were in 23, where the average assessment change was about 12%, if you recall, which was quite a jump in value. And the state of the Ossining real estate market, it's difficult for industry folks, difficult for assessors to always put their finger on exactly where the market's headed. It's still very much a seller's market. But from 2024 to 25 and then 25 to 26, we are seeing that curve start to slow in terms of coming to perhaps a peak. It may be that in the next year or so, we start to see a flattening out of the market, which will be reflected on next year's tentative roll. For the time being, though, we're still up in the low to mid single digits. And again, that'll be reflected in nearly everyone's assessed values. And as I mentioned before, the typical assessment change for residential between 4 and 6%, and the typical change for commercial was 2 to 3%. And that's largely due to the fact that interest rates remain stubbornly high. Our capitalization rates, particularly for the retail and office sectors, we have to be careful on their values. They have not recovered in the same way as, let's say, apartment buildings. So the apartment asset class has increased in value maybe 3 to 4%, but for most of our commercial, it's anywhere from 2 to 3. And for the information I had emailed around earlier, I think you'll see for the 2023 to 2026, these are the data visualizations that sort of better demonstrate how, while we're still increasing in value. For example, the village of Ossining, we were at over 11% in 2023, then down to 7 in 24, back up to 8.5 in 25. Now we're at just under 5% growth. That trend follows through a more steady downward trajectory for Briarcliff, 10.5, 11% in 23, now down to 4% in 2026. And the same for the town outside of the villages. About 11% in 23, down to just over 4% in 26. And we conducted an internal sales ratio analysis. The state of New York has given us their preliminary results. They have already confirmed that we are meeting our 100% standard. So that was good to hear from the market analysts up in Albany and down here in White Plains, where they do some of the local sales ratio work. We feel confident that we'll be able to maintain that 100% ratio. The vertical and horizontal equity, basically assessments that are fair across price strata and also within a location. Those vertical and horizontal equity measures, they look very positive. We're able to defend that whether you're a higher valued home or a medium or a lower valued home, that your assessment ratio should be roughly the same across the board. That we're not playing favorites with one part of the town over another, one village over another. We're trying to capture value as of taxable status and valuation date as is our charge. So in terms of assessment equity, that's where we want to be. Coefficient of dispersion, price-related differential, everything looks, again, where we want it to be. And with regard to exemptions administration, I have to hand it to our new assessment clerk. She's done a fantastic job in light of the volume of applications. And Jessica Salinas, she's very, very good. Like I said, it's not an easy job. We always want to accommodate our homeowners. We encourage folks to always pay attention to that May 1st deadline. There were only a handful of people who didn't make it. Most of our homeowners are savvy. They saw our communications, our postcards, our letters, and they got their applications in on time. We would also stress that for grievances as well. There are statutory deadlines. Please take a look at our website. If you have any questions, give us a call. We're here to answer those questions. Thank you.
That's great, Mike. Thank you. Very comprehensive as always. And this was a very busy year. I think the new raising the amount that people could make really made a huge difference in the number of people that qualified for the exemptions. And, they did a yeoman's job in clerk's office, and everybody had to share that poor downstairs office. But they did a great job in making sure that everybody was taken care of, and hats off. Thank you. It's a lot quieter this week, let me tell you. Any questions?
Good job, Mike.
Great job.
Thank you, folks. Have a good evening.
Where to put the motion? Next, we have a special presentation on Sing Sing Prison Museum from Assistant Director. If I don't say your name correctly, I apologize in advance, Amy Huffnagel.
It's American.
It is
Horseshoe nail.
Hi,
everyone.
Hi, how are
Nice
you?
to see you. It's been a year since I've been in front of you. Maybe you've been following along what's happened in the last year. I'm not exactly sure where to start the recap. I'm happy also to just answer questions that you all might have. What I'm going to call the deep air view of the Sing Sing Prison Museum is that we have survived significant funding cuts on the federal level that removed National Endowment for the Humanities capital funding for our work at the Olive Opera House. We are navigating a difficult situation with the Department of Corrections that many would describe as being in a failure state in the state of New York. There's a massive labor problem inside our prison system. And because of that, our work to activate the 1825 cell block on the unused portion of Sing Sing has been placed in hold status. So we had completed a $600,000 design phase, fully funded, to build a break in the prison wall that would take visitors in to see that 1825 cell block. We completed that design phase, and then all work has stopped. We have an official notice from the commissioner saying that there is no foreseeable future in which the museum activates the 1825 cell block. So we are obviously engaged in conversations around that, largely political and with Department of Corrections people. What's sad about that story on many levels is there is no preservation plan for that building. It's very much at risk of falling down, of being lost. And I think the other sad thing about it is $5.5 million that is being held and has been raised to do that part of the project is also just caught in not being able to be spent.
That's
So-
because they have the National Guard there still?
That's one of the reasons, yeah. That was-
Still that.
They just don't have the staff to dedicate to any project that happens that is not core function. So even things like college programming, arts programming, things that are rehabilitative in nature have been largely curtailed for the last 18 months and not happening. And when they do happen, they're not happening with regularity. I encourage you to Google this situation. It really is just a terrible state. You know, the governor fired about 5,000 people in the wake of that illegal wildcat strike. And they're just not able to staff them. There's a whole sort of theory as to why that is. These are things that the museum certainly teaches about and talks about. It's a theme that comes up on our walking tour program that has restarted in April and will run the last weekend of every month through November again this season. Happy to talk about that, but I want to just like sort of reframe that I started with the most depressing news, the hardest news, the things that are challenging the project. Now I'm going to move to the positive news. The positive news is that the Olive Opera House is in full swing of restoration and adaptive reuse. We expect to open the visitor center and the mezzanine level of that project for the public this year. We hope that claims true. We were hoping to open in April, so we're certainly continue to be behind schedule on that. But there's huge progress happening. We also, I think I told you last year, but let me just reiterate that the museum has a $2.5 million grant from Lilly Endowment that is significantly impacting our work and our ability to roll out new and innovative research and programs. Everything from an oral history program to a series of public programs that happen this year in different a range of ecumenical sites that are religious organizations around town and in New York City. The reason for that is that the grant is really studying the intersections between incarceration and religion, which is a whole fabulous, rich and complicated history. If you're interested to know more, walking tour addresses it, among other things. So that funding is funding that only 33 museums in the United States received and is hugely foundational to grounding our staff and our work. What else should I report? We've hired our second full-time person. For those of you who know me, I'm entering my 4th year on the project. I'm the only full-time employee until about 6 months ago, when we hired a full-time curator and program manager to assist. And then Brent Glass is our executive director, who is part-time in Washington, D.C. And we have a range of different part-time employees, really running a very robust and exciting workforce development program where we're hiring previously incarcerated people to come in and work for the museum. So I think, yeah, I mean, that's my deep air view. There are 100 things I could talk about. We have strategic planning in place. We have a major marketing project.
Want to talk about your walking tours?
I'd be happy to. So we run walking tours, as you know from last year when we spoke, that happen in Lewis Ingalls Park. We have groups of up to 15. 4 tours a day on the Saturday and Sunday that we run. Those tours go from the Ossining Boat and Canoe Club along the river into the Westchester County Water Treatment Facility, where we have full panoramic views, really, of the entire carceral architecture of Sing Sing and then the river. And then last year, we came out of that space and reserved a picnic table area to have a reflective art activity and discussion with visitors. And this year, we're doing that part of the project, something that's in development in that vehicle graveyard that Docks has near the Powerhouse building, if you know about that. So we've been working to secure really what I would describe as the ugliest place you could possibly place museum programming in the entire world. And we will have picnic tables there and do our activity there. The main reason for that shift was not that we didn't want to pay parks or participate with parks, although there were some hiccups along the way there. It was really that the environment of boom boxes and barbecues was counterintuitive to the kinds of conversations we were having around the table at that moment. So we're doing really hard, we teach really hard history, and we are having really meaty conversations in that post-tour debrief time. And we just didn't feel that we could ask anybody to turn the music down or stop being beautiful recreational uses because it's a park. But there was a sort of a tone shift that was complicated.
A more depressing location.
We really just needed an uglier and more depressing location to do our work.
Oh, yeah, I think the space is coming along very nicely. I've visited a couple of times. Yeah, I'm very excited that you are, secured the funding and the planning and, moving forward slowly but steadily. And I'm glad you were able to overcome the challenges that this year has brought you. So we can continue.
I
To be
so
successful
appreciate
with
that
that.
support, but thank you so much.
And, do my colleagues have any questions?
I was just curious, when you have your tours, do people register in advance or is it just general admission showing them?
Yeah, we have the ability to sell tickets right in the scene on an iPad if somebody just walks up, but we do encourage reservations and signing up through our website.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, just keep getting it out there to the public and to the community.
Great. I hope you all are members of our e-blast because there's really great news happening there. Okay, good. Be well, everybody. Thanks for supporting local government and doing your jobs the way you are. Appreciate it.
Thank
Supervisor and town board announcements.
All right. This Saturday, May 16th, is the military banner tribute event, starting at 10:30 a.m. at the Arts Community. During the program, community members will present the names of their service persons, military branches, and years of service as noted on their banners. This year is particularly special as we celebrate Ossining's 250th anniversary. To mark this historic milestone, all 2026 banners will proudly feature the 0250 logo. Please join us with the Board of Trustees, Town Council, and Village Historian for our third annual military banner ceremony. All right, Picks and Pickleball will be hosting their spring festival on Saturday, May 16th from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. at Chilmark Park. Along with the pickleball tournament, there will be live music, food trucks, and a kids zone. For more information, please visit picksandpickleball.com. Westchester Collaborative Theater's Music in the Box program continues with Oren Neiman and Gilad Efrat's Songs of the Valley. Performance Saturday starting at 7 p.m. For more information or to get tickets, please visit wctheater.org, which is WCT Eater, really. But anyway, WCT Theater. Okay, the Torview Spring Open House has been rescheduled this Sunday, May 17th, from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. You can go listen to live music, enjoy a plethora of lawn games with the family, and learn what Torview Swim Club has to offer. I don't have the email address, but torview.com.
Torview dot. Yeah, they're .com.
Torview.com. TORVIEW.com. All right, pianist Brenda Quattrini will be performing All American Composers on Sunday, May 17th. This program celebrates a rich tapestry of American music through the unique blend of works by renowned composers. Purchase tickets or to learn more, please visit bethanyarts.org. NAMI Westchester, and the Ossining Public Library are co-sponsoring a special presentation focused on talking openly about living with a mental health condition. The program aims to help people gain a better understanding about mental health challenges and learn how support can make a meaningful difference. The program is scheduled for Wednesday, May 20th at 7 p.m. To register, please visit NAMI.westchester.org. Great news for our weekend travel. The MTA has announced the return of the Haverstraw-Ossining Ferry, Ossining-Haverstraw, weekend service beginning Saturday, May 23rd. The service will run hourly on Saturday and Sunday through October 31st, providing a convenient connection to Metro North trains and making it easier than ever to enjoy your scenic waterfront. New York State has a burn ban that is in effect until the 14th. Spring brings a higher risk of wildfires, so it's important to do your part and follow the rules. For more information on the burn ban, visit dec.ny.gov. Moderate income households in New York State may qualify for monthly discounts on their utility bills through the Expanded Energy Affordability Program, EEAP. To learn more, please visit newyorkeap.com/program. Jazz at the Lodge returns every Thursday night. Visit jazzathelodge.com for the schedule and details. Sustainable Westchester wants to remind everybody that the Brig Rewards program is free to join. Get paid by simply being smart with your electrical usage. Visit sustainablewestchester.org for more information. 2026 Summer Sailing Club program is has opened its registration. Supported by the Ossining Community Sailing Club, this program is ready for those who want to learn or already know how to sail. For more information, contact the club at membership.ocsc@yahoo.com. Neighbors Link is a great source of information and community resource for our immigrant population. Please visit their website, www.neighborslink.org, and click resources and register to attend informational webinars about knowing your rights in both English and Spanish, and to find trusted contact information for trusted professionals. As always, our Ossining Public Library has many events. Please see their website at ossininglibrary.org for more information. And the Loft LGBTQ+ Community Center has events and programs, resources and presentations, all dedicated to providing support to everyone who is part of the LGBTQ+ community, including many virtual and in-person support groups and clubs for a multitude of different topics. Please check their website at loftgaycenter.org for more information. And there are many more fun and interesting events being held locally, and you can find them on the supervisor's update on the supervisor's webpage and the town website to see them. Do any of my colleagues have? Oh, okay. And coming soon is a Memorial Day. Not this. Thank you.
All right, public comment on agenda items. Visitors are afforded a 4-minute opportunity to address the board on any of the resolutions on the agenda. Is there anyone in our online would like to raise their virtual hand? Seeing no one. Board resolutions, approval of minutes, April 28th, 2026, resolved that the town board of the town of Ossining hereby approves April 28th, 2026 minutes of the regular meeting as presented. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Approval of voucher detail report. Resolved that the town board of the town of Ossining hereby approves the voucher detail report dated May 12th, 2026 in the amount of $1,643,048.23. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, just so you know, that's 5 months of police and 2 months of fire department, right?
Personnel appointment, seasonal.
Not that much of police department. How many?
Resolved that the board, I apologize.
Five months as per usual.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's 5 months of the police,
5 months of
fire,
police
I'm a
department.
police, and then the fire has been the same. There's no fee.
Oh, so monthly fire department,
Monthly fire, yes.
okay. Sorry, go ahead, Cynthia.
Resolved that the town board of the town of Ossining appoints Vincent Ayala Yonkers for a seasonal position as part-time intermediate clerk in the assessor's office at an hourly rate of $18 an hour, effective May 26th, 2026. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Agreement. Wanted Dead End Productions LLC. Be it resolved that the town board hereby authorizes the supervisor to enter into a license agreement with Haunted Dead End Productions LLC to establish and operate a seasonal attraction at Cedar Lane Park open to the public during the weekends of October 2026, the haunting of Cedar Lane Park, with a portion of the ticket sales to go to the town parks and recreation maintenance, improvements, and programming. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Monthly reports. Resolved the town board of the town of Ossining hereby accepts the monthly reports from the month of April 2026, supervisor's office, town clerk, town building department, highway department, and town tax receiver. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Visitor recognition. Visitors are accorded a 4-minute opportunity to address the board on any issues not relating to the agenda, but of relevance of the good, common good for the town. Is there anyone in our online that would like to raise their virtual hand? Moving on, adjournment into executive session for pending litigation, contracts, and advice of counsel. So motion.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you for joining us this evening. See you next week at 16 Clinton Avenue. for our work session.